welcome to another video from Cyfarthfa Castle Museum and Art Gallery. My name is Chris and this is Megan, and we've got Betsy and Parry behind the camera. As ever, we are amateur cameramen, so excuse the little wobbling. If she can help it, it won't be too wobbly, will it, Bets? She's shaking her head. So where we are today is we are doing the second part of our walk for the raw materials that go into the furnaces at Cyfarthfa. And so we did limestone, and there's two other raw materials, which are
iron and coal.
Iron ore and coal. So Betsy's jumped in front now and Megan behind. And why we are doing coal and ironstone at the same time is Cyfarthfa, when it was mining the raw materials from the Aberdeen mountainside, which is where we're going to be walking up into, they were mining coal and iron simultaneously in a lot of different points. So it makes sense to do the same video for the same two raw materials at the same time. So we're going to be going up to the remains of one of the coal pits in the Aberdeen mountainside and talk a little bit more about the coal and the ironstone, how it was got, how it was processed, and how it eventually got to Cyfarthfa. So as you can see, we are starting the video here in Upper Abercarnedd. We're next to Key Road here, which was a row of cottages next to the Canal, which sort of remains of it in front of us. Basically, the old water channels can be seen in lots of different points of the Canal. And it was named obviously Key Road because there was a key here where they loaded the coal. Now these cottages and a lot of the buildings and infrastructure around here were for Robert and Lucy Thomas's pits, which are different from the ones at Cyfarthfa. They were the first pits in Merthyr to get coal to actually exploit it as a commodity in its own right. So they weren't getting coal to put into the furnaces, they were getting coal to sell on the open market. But anyway, we will get underway with our little walk. So we're going to walk opposite and onto the Taff Trail a bit, and I will take over the camera and talk to you a bit more about everything else. So as I mentioned, we were just by Key Road there, and so we just come in from Upper Abercarnedd onto the Taff Trail and heading down the Taff Trail in this direction. Exactly. So let's go. So as you're walking up this bit of trail, you'll be able to see the remnants really and the shape of the canal remains. It would have been a lot wider in certain places, and it has changed a bit. Obviously they've changed it to retain some of the water channels that still flow down this bit, but the Canal was a gigantic trade route for Merthyr really, and really put Cardiff on the map really. And so when you're walking along the Taff Trail, particularly in Abercarnedd and going down, you'll see lots of remains of the Canal, but all of the coal pits and ironstone mines that we are going to see, most of that raw material wouldn't come down on this canal. Most of that would actually be going up to Cyfarthfa rather than down to Cardiff and elsewhere. Happy girl. As we go up the Taff Trail here, you'll see the road curve off, and we are going off to the left hand side coming up here now. So you will see a little farm gate up ahead and then a little walkway on the other side. We're going to jump over this fence and then continue to walk up into the mountainside, and that is where we're going. Do you want to try and get over on your own? All of this rubbish weren't here the other day when I came here, so I don't know what's going on with this amount of rubbish. Hopefully they'll clear it.
Yes.
You okay, guys?
Woo!
Perfect. You hold the camera then, Beth, while I jump over.
Got it.
There we go. Take back over, and then we're going to head up in this direction into the mountainside. And this walk is pretty much going to be fairly straightforward, but obviously like the last walk we did, it is going to be difficult for people with accessibility issues like wheelchairs and prams and things like that, because there is a lot of rough terrain. But it is fairly straightforward. We're just going to head up the hill and then straight back down to retrace our steps to back to where we started. Simple as that. So we just come under the subway there, and we're heading up on the trail in front of us here, and Betsy is still determined to jump in front of the camera with her tongue out. Go away. And so the trail here goes off into two different directions, and we are going to go this way to the left. So yeah, Cyfarthfa Ironworks have been taking raw materials from this site from around 1765, and the first furnace was put into blast in 1766. When they first come up onto this mountainside, everything could be seen really. Coal seams were jutting through the land, and ironstone deposits could be seen as well. So it was all really straightforwardly easy. They just kind of open cast, really, which what they call patching. They created little patches where they dug down into what they could see, and then when they dug down and it got too dangerous, they'd move on to the next. Many years later, they would start sinking the pits, the remains of which we're going to be going to see now, and that continued right the way until the end of Cyfarthfa's kind of time, really. So we're still making our way up the hillside here, and Betsy's been picking up stones. You'll see lots of remains of ironstone and coal all over this site the further you go up the mountain, and you'll notice why it was kind of utilised really for so many years. As I said just now, in 1765, when Cyfarthfa was founded first, it had one furnace, and it was predominantly kind of built and financed by a gentleman called Anthony Bacon, who's quite often forgotten about in the story of Cyfarthfa, really, and how they originally got the materials from the site up here to Cyfarthfa is via a canal. They made a canal from where we are in Abercarned all the way up to Cyfarthfa. And some call it the Blind Carned Canal, some call it the Cyfarthfa Canal, it varies, but we know it was in action by about 1771, and it is stretched all the way up to the Cyfarthfa furnaces, taking all the coal and the raw materials all the way up to Cyfarthfa and directly into the furnaces. And that is what we are going to be looking at in the third episode of this series. We're going to be doing a little walk around the furnaces and seeing how these raw materials ended up on the site there. And definitely wellies or boots in rainy weather, because these pathways can get icky. Icky indeedy. So as we are walking by here, you'll see another point where the path trails off in different directions, and you can indeed find loads of different trails along this mountainside, and to be honest, most of them will take you to an ironstone deposit or old ironworks or old collieries or something. You might not recognise it instantly as that, but they are scattered all across this mountainside. Yeah?
Or something old.
Or something old, yeah. Like me.
Like you.
I knew you were going to say that then. And you'll see on your right hand side going up, as we'll come into view in a second, a pond up here as well, which was used as a water reservoir to supply different parts of the works, possibly the canals and things like that. It depends on what time period you're looking at, really, but it's certainly a man-made pond, and you'll see it just through there, and you can have a lovely walk right the way around there. So we reached the point in the path now where we go slightly off track down this little direction. So when you come here, you'll see a path going up that way. That's where we came from, and we're going to go down this direction for the moment. There we go, good health and safety advice there, Megan. And yeah, we go in this way just because this is probably the quickest and easiest way from the direction we came to get to the remains of the pit that we are going to.
Also, to make sure you like and subscribe.
Well done, Meg. keeping the channel going there. What do you say, Meg?
Is that ironstone?
Yeah, it looks like ironstone. It's a similar colour, and you can see little remains of little bits of coal as well as we go on the floor and stuff like that. Like I say, this hillside was absolutely littered with the raw materials needed in the process.
What stone is that?
What stone is what? It looks a little bit like ironstone to me, Bets.
Ah!
But I am not a geologist. I am a historian.
Muddy.
It's muddy, yes. And again, this is used lots by bikers, so some of the trails are a bit more worn than others. But as you can probably see through the trees for there, girls, we're just coming up to the remains of Cwm Pit now. Now, Cwm Pit was a coal pit that was founded by William Crochet on the mountainside here.
William Crochet found it?
Yes, yeah. And so this is long after that Anthony Bacon period in the 18th century, where they were patching and just taking stuff from what they could see on the surface. They actually called all this landscape Anthony Bacon's Mineral Kingdom when Anthony Bacon was involved up here. And that's because there was such an abundance of everything they needed. And so, William Crochet came in a generation, yeah, I know, where they had to work a little bit harder to get their raw materials. Whoop, you okay, Bets?
Oh.
Careful.
Watch your step. I repeat it.
So yeah, so we're just heading down to the remains of Cwm Pit now, and you can scarcely imagine really what it was like when it was fully built really. I'll show a picture or two of Cwm Pit when it was being used, but it looks very different. This is one of the water channels, this is, and so the main pit is actually up there on that level. We are down sitting next to it really, alright, where the water flow was coming down for you. Do you want to hold the camera for me for a sec, Megan?
Yeah.
Now Cwm Pit where we are now was solely a coal pit. It didn't have iron out of it as well. But further down in that direction, where we won't be going to all these places these days, but I'll try to show you some references on maps and stuff like that, just because it would make the walk a bit longer, and these girls will already be walked out by the end of this anyway. But Glendaris Pit, Cwm Pit, and a few other sites along this mountainside were dual pits, so they got the ironstone out alongside the coal. That wouldn't be the end of the story for the raw materials. Obviously they would be channeled up to Cyfarthfa, and the coal in particular would be burnt and cooked, because the coal, like the limestone in our last video, needed to be processed before it went into the furnace. The iron though didn't need any processing at all really, it just needed breaking down into smaller manageable chunks. But the coal certainly needed processing, which we'll talk more about in the next video, alright? So we'll have a little look around the remains here, and then we'll head back down. What do you think they did when a pit became useless to them? Because they had a big hole in the ground where they were getting coal from, so what would they do? But what would they fill it with? No, they'd fill it with all of this. So all of the buildings and everything, anything they couldn't sell would be used to help fill that hole before they capped it off to make it safe. So what we are going to do is we are going to go up and across the river here and up this path, because there's a few more remains that I want us to show these two up on top here. So you see where my footprints are? That one, and that one.
I'm petrified because last time I done this I fell into one.
That's why I got the camera rolling. I'm hoping that if you fall in we can get some money for this video.
Yes, I didn't fall in!
Come on, Bets! Yay!
Yay!
And up we go.
Very steep, isn't it?
So you'll see little remains of coal and other things like that. But keep going. So as you come up here now, you'll see the trail spread out, and all of this landscape across here was once part of that Cwm Pit landscape where the coal was gotten out of. So we're just walking slightly down here now. We came across the river, and just through the bushes but there is one of the last bits of remains I want to show to you before, because obviously I want to leave a lot of things for you to discover on your own, because that's the beauty about doing a little walk like this with your family or whatever, or your friends, so you can discover things on your own, innit, Meg? And so that there, go and have a look. Tell me what you think that is the remains of, girls. Hey, what? A furnace? No. It's actually a chimney that has been chopped down quite a lot. It would have gone high up in the air, and you can see this chimney on photos of Cwm Pit, and it looks vastly different today than it would have done back in the day. If you go off the trail here as well, guys, which is just further down from the chimney stack there, you'll see side view, which you can't really get from down there, and you'll see staircase there and some other remains. If we continue over this direction slightly, you will see the remains. If you want to have a, do you want to have a look quick?
Yeah.
Okay. You will see the tunnel that goes right the way through to Aberdeen. So we're just walking from the chimney and we're taking this track down this direction. So yeah, there's talk about opening this tunnel up as a bike track as well, Meg. Would you like to bike down it?
Yeah.
Yeah? So as we come down the hill, you'll come to this metal railway bridge here, because as I should have said earlier actually, a lot of the to-in and fro-in of the raw materials when the pits were made were not via the canal. They put whole infrastructures of railways and tramways and everything like that in place to actually get the raw materials down to Cyfarthfa, and as you can see there, that's our tunnel that goes right the way through the mountainside. Can you see it?
Yeah, that's so cool.
try to zoom in on it a little bit.
Is it a mine, Dad?
No, that's a tunnel, a railway tunnel, and so the railway would have gone all the way underneath us here and up and through the mountain there. Quick and easy access to our day. But anyway, that's the end of our video. So, what do you say, girls?
Bye!
Bye bye, and hold the camera and I'll say goodbye. Bye bye, and thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the second. Obviously we can't do a full justice video for a family walk going to all the sites that got iron and coal from on this mountainside, because there are numerous sites. But hopefully you'll get a little something from doing this walk together with family or friends or anything. Remember to screenshot any of the images and any of the writing or any of the map references, and then take them out and have a walk and enjoy, really getting out and about, learning a bit of history, innit? The next video, the third and the final video in our little Rambling for Raw Materials series, we'll be looking at the raw materials getting to the furnace bank. So we'll be doing a quick tour and a quick look around the furnaces at Cyfarthfa. So thank you very much, and hwyl fawr!
Bye!